And hello, welcome to our show. It is Sunday, December 20th, 2020. The year is almost done. Hi, Zach. How's it going? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, there we go. I couldn't hear you for a second. I'm not quite sure what happened there. So, anyway, what is new?
Nothing.
Nothing. You weren't here last week. Did you get drugged into some like family function or something like that?
What was I doing last week? I don't even remember.
How do you not?
It was
How do you not
important.
remember? Must not have been that important then.
Oh, whatever it is, it wasn't.
Yep. My
think I was
favorite
just-
part is though is that Zach shoots me a message like 15 minutes before the show's supposed to start, and he's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm not here this week." So yeah, no. I was actually a little surprised when I got a message back from you this morning at like 11:30 because I wasn't quite expecting. Well, I don't know if I was expecting you to be up or not. So
I'm conditioned to wake up earlier for work, so
I kind of figured that. I thought about it then too, and I was like,
like 10 o'clock is maybe the latest.
mm. So I have been sleeping in till like noon every day for the last week because I have been on vacation. I took a week off. It was wonderful. Got some other projects and stuff done that I wanted to, and yeah, just enjoyed some time off and really did nothing. So that was pretty awesome. I hadn't taken any vacation off in 2020 at all. So and I have vacation time that I figured I better use. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a week off, and it's been wonderful. So back to the grind tomorrow, but I only work 4 days, and then I have Christmas Day off, and then a long weekend as well. So that'll be pretty nice.
I don't know what I'll have
Do
as far as that
you?
goes.
So like our support team at my particular entity, well, actually, Christmas Day there probably won't be anybody there, but on certain holidays somebody has to be there, like they're on call. Are you guys like that too?
Yes, we do have someone on call.
So is it? I'm guessing there's a rotation or something like that for that.
Yeah, but that's not. Oh, the tier 2s do that. I might get made a tier 2 if I'm lucky. We'll see.
Get promoted to tier 2. So what happens when you become what does tier 2 offer you?
You get paid more.
Is that basically all it is?
Well, and they get to go to sites sometimes, which is yeah.
Hey, you'll get to deal with printers.
I already do.
Wasn't there that wonky one at your old employer that was like had to be like level or something like that, otherwise it wouldn't work?
I remember something like that.
Yeah, so anyway, so obviously since I've been off for the whole week, I've been finding some ways to kind of entertain myself. And so I took a trip to one of my local retailers, and I found this.
What is it? Oh.
Can you not read it?
no.
Huh?
I can read it. Now I can read it. I had to click in. I'm familiar with the name, but I've never watched it.
You've never watched Doctor Who?
It's just such a rabbit hole that I just haven't gotten into.
Have you ever seen any...
Hasn't it been going on for quite a long time?
Yeah, so
be a lot to catch up on.
There was an old season, or like an old version of it. I believe that was like black and white, and that came out in like the 70s or 80s or something like that. And this version that I have here is the newer updated version. It's produced by BBC. And so this one was started in, I think, 2005. And I think it builds on top of the old episodes or something like that. But anyway, so I actually was introduced to Doctor Who a long time ago, when I used to love it's a comedy like spin-off of like Home Improvement with Tim Allen. Do you know what show I'm talking about?
You're asking me about shows.
You've never
the
seen
answer is pretty much an automatic no. I don't.
You've
really
never
follow
seen
much
Home
TV at all.
You've never seen Home Improvement before?
Oh, is that the name of a show or
yeah,
just
that's the name of a show.
No, I've never seen that.
Okay, so Home Improvement, it was a Tim Allen show. It was hilarious. It was a comedy. And so anyway, there was this show on PBS called Red Green. And it was hilarious. It's a Canadian series. Follows this kind of rundown lodge full of like guys. And like I said, it's a spinoff of... not necessarily a spin-off, but it's kind of that same idea as like Home Improvement. Basically, the magical thing that they do everything with is duct tape. So,
ha ha ha, the joke.
Anyway, hey, duct tape makes the world go round. Anyway, so after that show would end, they had this little like Stargazer show, which was kind of cool. It was like a short like 10-15 minute show or something like that, and then Doctor Who would come on, and so I got into it that way. And I haven't watched Doctor Who for a really long time, and as I was browsing through the movie section, I happened to come across this box set, and so I have been slowly but surely ripping... There's 12 discs in here, and I have been ripping them into my Plex server.
Oh, the copyright cartel wouldn't like to hear that.
No. Okay? I own the box set, right? And I am legally allowed...
They don't care about that.
No.
They don't care about that.
I am legally allowed to make backup copies for myself.
That they still wouldn't like that, though. That's the point.
I don't know. But, so, yeah. So,
don't
6
care.
of these
They're
discs...
losers anyway.
6 of these discs start in my
funny.
Plex server right now. You've heard of Plex before, haven't you, Zach?
Yes.
Do you know anything about it?
It's some software that allows you to host media?
Yeah, basically. So, Plex is actually pretty cool.
I've never used it.
Yeah, Plex is actually pretty neat if you're somebody who enjoys consuming media, especially your own media. So basically, my process is I take a disk, I run it through a piece of software called Make MKV, which turns it can read the proprietary like format that's on the... Well, it's not proprietary, but it can read the format that's on the disk and then convert that into an MKV file. And then from there, what I can do is I can take the MKV file and run that through Handbrake, and that converts it into an MP4 file. And supposedly, all I need to do is actually rip the MKV files, and Plex is apparently capable of playing those back natively. I haven't tried that yet. But the problem with the MKV files is they're huge. They're like 3 gigabytes or something like that, and then I can run it through Handbrake and shave off a couple of gigabytes or something like that. And those are only 480p off of a DVD. So, I mean, it's not the highest quality in the world, but it's good enough for what I want. I'm not like one of those people that like has to have like super high quality and like everything. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful, but like, I don't know. If I can watch it, like, it's good enough for me. So anyway, those files get dumped into a separate WD Blue 1 terabyte drive that I have on my Plex machine, which is basically just Maverick. That's what I repurposed Maverick for. And it runs the Plex server application on it. And so basically, I have particular folders set up for different things. There's a movies folder for actual movies. There's a TV shows folder, and then what you do is you drop these things into different folders, and then you drop the specific episodes into specific folders with that season name, and you name them in a certain way. And then what Plex will do is it'll actually pick up all that stuff and add all the metadata in for you inside of Plex, which is pretty cool. So it adds the synopsis, it adds the like the name of the episode, it tells you all the characters, things like that. So it's pretty awesome. It does this with anything that it can find a match for, basically, out on the internet. So it's a great little technology. And then I have my Plex server set up so that I can access it from the outside world. And so I can take my computer or my iPad or whatever, load up the Plex app, and watch content back from my own library. Basically, I'm streaming it. So it's like having your own streaming service that you host yourself and you provide the content for. And then you can share your library with other people too, which is pretty cool. So, yeah. So, that's Plex. It's a pretty cool little application. You don't really consume media though, do you, Zach? Not in that way. So, let's see, Doctor Who. It's kind of like a sci-fi series. Like, I don't know if that interests you at all.
Yes, I do know it is quite popular among geeks.
Geeks?
Yeah, that's right. You're a geek.
Actually, okay, I am a geek. Okay, so here's the thing. I consider myself a geek, not a nerd. And here's the thing.
What is even the difference?
Well, see,
I don't even know what the difference
for
is.
me,
I would use the terms interchangeably.
I wouldn't. See, I think a geek is more techie. I think a nerd is more like book smart, like a bookworm kind of. Nerd is like more sciencey, I think. Whereas, like, again, a geek is.
I don't even know. I have no interest in debating the difference between a geek and a nerd.
Difference between geek and nerd
I guess
are
you
often
could
used
Google it.
interchangeably as if they mean the same thing, but they actually don't. Geek, an enthusiast of a particular topic or field, and a nerd, studious intellect, although again of a particular topic. Aha! See? Yep. See, so I consider myself
it sounds
a
to me
geek.
like the definitions kind of overlap anyway.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I consider myself more of a geek than a nerd. I'm not really academically smart, shall we say. I'm more like street smart than I am necessarily academically smart. Which gets me through a lot of things. So, anyway, let's see here. I suppose let's do this. We're going to talk about the SolarWind hack a little bit. You heard about that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Although I can't recall the details that I read. I guess we'll go over it.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it. Something about routers and your ISP, something they can't do anymore. We'll talk about that. Microsoft news. Some test proctoring services are under fire right now.
God.
And schools have bought FBI phone hacking tech. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's going nowhere good.
For sure not. And with that, let's roll the intro. Yeah, I don't know all the details on the SolarWind thing, but we'll talk about what I kind of know here.
Well, evidently it affected quite a few government agencies as well.
Yeah.
Caused them to lose a lot of information.
Oh, I didn't hear that. So
I heard, I don't remember where, but I read something that seemed to indicate they lost a lot of data that was stolen.
So yeah, let's take a look at this. So, the same Russian government hacking group responsible for a security breach at FireEye compromised the Treasury and Commerce Department and other U.S. government agencies, the Washington Post reported. The group is known as APT29 or Cozy Bear, responsible for hacking the U.S. State Department and the White House during the Obama administration, according to the Post, and is the group that officials believe targeted COVID-19 vaccine research over the summer as well. Yeah, because that was a thing too. Like all these different countries were like on a race to like, well, obviously because of the money behind it, I guess. Isn't that sad?
That is kind of sad. Like,
we take a national pandemic, and it comes down to who can make
worldwide, not national.
Yeah, exactly. A worldwide pandemic, right? And we still break it down to who can be first to create a vaccine so that we can make money, so we can profit off of it. Like, what the heck? But I don't know. Money is the vein of all existence, I guess. The vein or the bane?
Yeah, vein.
With a B or with a V?
I would say with a B.
With a bane. Okay, anyway, yeah. Reuters...
Vein?
I don't know. Reuters reported that in addition to hacking Treasury and the Commerce Department's National Telecommunications Information Administration, the NTIA, the hackers may have breached other U.S. government entities. Now, government officials consider the hack dire enough that the National Security Council held an emergency meeting at the White House on Saturday. I think this was last week. Because when was this? Yeah, this was the 13th. So this has been going on for a little bit. And I don't know if they fully, actually gotten it all under control or not. I'm not sure. The NSC spokesman told Reuters that the government was aware of the reports, adding, "We are taking all necessary steps to remedy the situation." Okay, that sounds like... Well, I mean, I'm sure they were, but
of course they are.
I'm sure they were, but it's PR speak right there.
That's just the most terrible PR speak.
Yeah, but it makes people feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Oh, it's okay. They got it. Now, it's not clear exactly what information may have been stolen or which foreign government was involved, but the highly sophisticated hackers were able to break into NTIA's Microsoft Office software, tricking authentication controls in order to monitor staff emails for months, according to Reuters. Okay. Microsoft released details on the methods used in the hack late Sunday night. Microsoft says the hackers operating on behalf of an external nation state compromised SolarWinds Orion monitoring and management software. Yeah. It's a good thing we're not using SolarWinds for our monitoring software at our church. So... do you guys have any kind of management software like that?
That information's above my pay grade.
Well,
be curious,
obviously not SolarWinds, or I'm sure you would have heard something about it by now.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, why does it just seem like the U.S. government's getting hacked all the time? Nobody really talks about other governments getting hacked. Are they just not talking about it, or are we just terrible?
I think probably.
I feel like maybe
I bet you they are, but it's probably because we live in America that we just don't generally hear about that. Or it could be because America is considered the wealthiest country in the... I don't know. We're the number one nation in the world.
Debatable.
Well, okay, I guess... Debatable now, I guess.
Debatable, especially in recent times. Oh, man.
I guess that's debatable now, but in the past we have been. So I don't know. And I'm sure other places have too, but maybe we're just seen as more valuable. I don't know. Well, the American dollar is the world's currency. So I'm sure that probably has something to do with it in terms of disrupting our economy and other things like that. By other countries, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's above like the scope of what I know, and the scope of our show here. So,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, SolarWinds Orion, I think that's how it is, monitoring and management software, giving attackers a foothold in target networks. Intruders were then able to impersonate any of the organization's existing users and accounts, including highly privileged accounts, which is really scary. Now, both Microsoft and SolarWinds are making countermeasures available to customers to help detect, protect, and respond to the threat, which is good, but only and hopefully any companies that are running this have sent patches out, or I think in certain instances with some of this kind of stuff, it's good for these things to just automatically update themselves.
I heard, where did I hear? What did I read? I read that there was a the compromise, whatever was compromised was used to push out malicious updates to customers.
Well, that's a possibility. In order to I don't know if they could wait from SolarWinds or from the attackers.
Yes.
Then sending
like they compromised SolarWinds and then they used that access to push out malicious
okay, I see what you're saying.
To customers of SolarWinds that were using that management software to do things like update. Like, oh hey, a new update just came in from our management tool. Oh, we're gonna install it, and
I get it. Okay, yep.
Hope it's not compromised.
Okay. Yeah, I get that then.
I guess I don't even know what the tool is or how it's used, but
so basically, it's something kind of like what so as a managed IT solution, right? You can utilize what do they call it? I'm trying to look here. Yeah, SolarWinds. There's Ninja RMM. It's remote management software, basically. And what it allows, like a company like, well, possibly eventually what TechBay Media turns into, as we could provide managed IT solutions to businesses, right? And install some kind of software on there like SolarWinds. And it would allow us from a central control panel to send updates down to these systems, monitor these systems. Even smaller companies use them sometimes.
Right, so then that's what was done.
Right, yeah. Even smaller companies use these things just, on their own internal servers and things like that, because you can monitor the servers very easily. I have a particular piece of management software on our server at the church, and I have an app on my phone that allows me, if here's a good example. One of the users accidentally locked themselves out of their account a couple weeks ago, and I was able to just open the app and unlock their account from it. Very simple. And after a given amount of time, now the user told me before I got the message, but after a given amount of time, I will actually get a notification that says, hey, such and such user has locked themselves out of their account. And from there, I can go into the app and unlock their account. So it's useful software, but it does create some vulnerabilities as well. I mean, anytime you open your systems up to any remote management kind of software, there is the potential for an intrusion. But anyway, and what you have to do is you have to determine are the rewards worth the risk, and what steps can be taken to defend that stuff as well. So, and I'm sure some of this probably comes down to SolarWinds too, and apparently Microsoft and things like that. So, I mean, we'll see where the blame gets put on this, but anyway. Now this was something that I had never thought about before, but it makes sense to not do now. And so basically, SolarWinds has now removed a list of high-profile clients from its website in the wake of a massive breach. You know how certain websites, for software will have a list of, like, these are the companies that we've done business with before.
Yeah.
I'm having second thoughts about that now, of ever doing that on a website, because you know what it is? It's an advertisement to hackers saying, hey, look, here are all the companies that we've done business with that are using our service. So, anyway. So, I don't quite get this, though, because they pulled it from the website, right? But it's still available through, like, what was available, or, page of the company's website, and is easily accessible through its Google Cache, and also probably like the Wayback Machine as well. But they've deleted it from the site, so it's all good. So but that's a thing. SolarWinds is still reeling from an extensive Russian-linked hack reported on Sunday, which affected a range of government agencies and private corporations. The hack was reportedly executed by compromising SolarWinds' Orion IT product, using Orion's update system to deploy malicious code. There you go, Zach. As organizations scramble to determine who may have been vulnerable to the hack, a list of organizations using Orion IT is the best guide many have. The list of vulnerable companies is much smaller than SolarWinds' overall client list, so simply appearing on that list doesn't mean that a company has been affected, which is something that's important to remember. SolarWinds claimed that only 33,000 companies use Orion product, or use the Orion product. Well, 33,000. Only, Zach! Only 33,000.
I see.
Nothing to worry about. Only 33,000. The company estimates that fewer than 18,000 were directly impacted by a malicious update.
Oh, that's no big deal then.
Right? Mm-hmm. And the list of directly targeted companies is likely even smaller. Still, there is much about the attack that remains... Excuse me. That remains unknown. And it is possible that the additional compromised have yet to be discovered. Now, SolarWinds' overall client list includes a broad range of sensitive organizations. Before its removal, the page boasted a broad range of clients, including more than 425 of the companies listed on the Fortune 500, as well as the top 10 telecom operations in the United States. Okay. Now, in an article on Monday, the New York Times cited a number of organizations as vulnerable that are not cited on the public client page, including Boeing and Los Alamos National Laboratory. Other organizations have been cagey about their own exposure. Even within the federal government, several news outlets have reported that the breach affected the Department of Homeland Security, but the department has not made any official statement regarding its exposure. The chaos has been exuberated by the recent departure of federal cybersecurity expert Christopher Krebs, that was fired as director of the Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency, the CISA, after contradicting President Trump's groundless claims of election interference. And according to Political Report, the growing scope of this crisis has pushed CISA's resources to the breaking point. As one official told Political, many agencies don't know how on fire they are yet. That is kind of terrifying. If you ask me. But yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with this. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen with all this. Let's see. Let's see. So apparently the Trump administration says that they have everything under control.
Okay.
Um,
Does anyone believe any like government or PR person when they say they have things under control after a crisis? They're always lying. Doesn't matter who they are. They're always talking a bunch of crap.
I don't know about that.
Well, okay, frequently talking a bunch of crap.
There are people that believe that.
I'm sure there are.
And I'm sure that there are people that don't believe that. So, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so according to the Trump administration, everything's under control, but that's really all I see out of this article. I'm sure that they're still trying to... I don't know. There's probably still some lasting impacts. I don't know how... And they're probably going to be pretty cagey about things, too, if I had to make a guess.
Well, I mean, I just wonder, like, you know, when that happens, stuff like that happens, how can you be sure that you got the attackers out?
Right, exactly. So,
you know, I don't envy that job. Whoever's doing that job.
Yeah, no, patch things and, you know, check your systems and...
Well, yeah, but patching things could, you know, potentially not be sufficient. It might, you know, eliminate, you know, perhaps additional avenues of entry for them. However, if they're already there, if they're already in there...
I think your first task is to close the hole, basically.
Well, of course.
Patch the hole first, and then once the hole's patched, then start the cleanup, basically. Yeah, you're right. I don't envy whose job that is. But, yeah. Anyway, let's move on to some lighter news here. Starting Sunday, which is today, cable companies can no longer rent you the router you already own, Zach.
Yep, that's honestly, I'm shocked that that's a thing that happened.
Yeah,
they made rules against that.
I am a little shocked by that. But anyway, is your ISP... Oh, go ahead.
I just said that, you know, I read that and I was like, wow, that kind of came out of nowhere.
Right, yeah. So if your ISP... Well, is your ISP charging you every month for the cable modem or router that you purchased with your own money? Or perhaps you have never bothered to buy those items because you couldn't escape the fee. Well, the fee will be illegal starting Sunday, December 20th, which is today.
Is that nationwide?
I don't know. And you should tell your ISP that you no longer will no longer tolerate it. Last year, Congress passed a law.
That's amazing. I love that. Any opportunity to give your ISP the middle finger is just...
right. So anyway, last year, Congress passed a law that should have fixed this ridiculous loophole as of June 20th, 2020. And though the FCC managed to extend the deadline 6 months by spinning up some BS about how cable companies didn't have the resources to stop... What? They didn't have the resources to stop charging you money? The law should take full effect.
Well, you know what's funny is that if that... Okay, let's assume that they do not have the resources to take that off the books, right? And say, okay, well, we're not charging them anymore. All right, well, what if... Okay, so let's assume that that's true. Then what if... Then surely they wouldn't be able to do anything if everyone just stopped paying the fee.
So,
Right?
okay, hang on. So, for the last few years, broadband customers have complained that Frontier Communications, which is the nation's third biggest telco, has been charging its customers $10 per month rental fee for modems they already purchased on their own. That's $120 a year.
That is like just ridiculous.
So normally you're supposed to be able to buy your own modems instead of paying your ISP a rental fee upwards of $10 per month.
I mean, you shouldn't even have to pay a rental fee. You shouldn't even have to pay a rental fee.
Okay, but here's the argument on that one. We put devil's advocate.
Like with how much?
No, let me play devil's advocate. Let me play devil's advocate here. They are
whatever.
They are allowing you to have a piece of equipment. Look, these things have to be, I don't know, at some point probably replaced.
What about the wiring?
Well, you pay an installation fee.
Rent. Okay, you don't rent the wiring, do you? Maybe instead of
I don't know.
It's obnoxious rental.
Look, here's the
fee,
thing,
it should
though.
just be
Here's
okay.
the
Well,
thing,
maybe you pay $50, right? You put a $50 deposit down, and then if you cancel your service and you return the modem / router, then you get it back because you're giving it back.
Fair enough.
That would be reasonable.
That's
the obnoxious rental fees, and God knows those things are not high quality equipment that is worth that much.
Hang on though. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, you
can't possibly convince me. Go ahead.
You have the option of purchasing your own, and at this point now not having to pay anything in terms of rental fees. So I'm just saying, right?
Sure.
Anyway, so to nab some extra dough from captive customers, Frontier basically decided to charge its customers a rental fee anyway, giving them a polite, though giant middle finger when they complained, basically. And because the current administration FCC is a glorified rubber stamp for the industry's biggest players, customers who complained to the agency received little more than a glassy-eyed stare. Now fast forward to last January when the problem was fixed. Shockingly enough, by the U.S. Congress, a massive U.S. government spending bill approved by Congress and signed by the Trump administration not only included some updates to the Communications Act, cracking down slightly on BS cable TV fees, but also including a little notice provision that formally bans the nonsense Frontier has been engaged in. Now, here's the wrinkle. While the law was supposed to take effect, this month. So this was back in June that this was written. A clause included in the measure gave the FCC the right to delay the restriction by 6 months. So that's precisely what the FCC did. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Is there anything in this article? Let's see. As the nation tackles the COVID-19 pandemic, multi-channel video programming distributors and providers of fixed broadband internet access service are among the entities that are integral to the Communications Commission's ongoing nationwide effort to keep Americans informed and connected during this national emergency. So that these services providers may focus their resources on this critical effort, we provide appropriate flexibility for MVPDs and providers of fixed broadband internet access to service or access service to fulfill their obligation under the Television Viewer Protection Act of 2019. We find that good cause exists for granting a blanket extension of Section 642's effective date until December 2022. What? Okay, hold on. This was at the same point where telecommunication companies were lifting data caps. Something that they had been charging extra money for.
Ugh, man. I mean, you just can't win with
no. That argument that they didn't have the resources to stop charging, BS, complete BS. It's the same BS that telecommunication companies feed governments and end users that, oh, well, the reason we can't install fiber is because we don't have the resources to do it. Look, okay, fiber is not cheap, right?
Taxpayers have already paid for. I mean, think about it. How much, like in total, have taxpayers paid the cable industry?
Not just the cable industry, the
Some
telecom industry.
Unholy amount of money has been paid by taxpayers.
You can't honestly
to the cable
tell me.
industry enough that every single house in the entire country should have fiber.
You can't sit there and tell me that they don't have the resources to be able to put fiber in.
Oh, it's
look,
so
again, fiber is not
so poor.
Fiber is not
so
cheap.
Poor.
Okay, it's not cheap. Okay, but these companies make millions
of hundreds of billions of dollars in taxpayer money they've got.
They make billions and I was going to say millions, but billions of dollars. You know, they have the resources available to do it.
I mean, it ultimately doesn't matter how much money they've made because taxpayers have paid the cable industry to do this, and they still don't do it.
Yeah, I don't know, but that argument,
it's just
right
horrible.
There, that argument right there, of they didn't have the resources to BS.
I wonder how many trillions of dollars in tax cuts and other crap handouts the cable industry has gotten.
I don't know, but yeah, that they didn't have the resources. That is complete BS. Now, do note that the actual text of the law still allows some BS to occur. If your ISP sends you a router, you'll need to return it to avoid charges. Well, okay, fine, that makes sense. Now, Frontier in particular has been notorious for charging customers that $10 a month fee for their equipment, whether you use it or not.
Yeah.
That is BS right there.
In fact, I frequently hear people say, "Oh, you know, they tried to charge me even after I gave it back."
What I love is that this is a giant middle finger for Frontier that basically says, you can't do that anymore. F you.
Somebody who waited months for a router from like CenturyLink or something, or maybe it was a modem, and was being charged the whole time for it, despite never actually receiving it, and finally got fed up and canceled his service that he never actually got.
Let's see. Every Frontier customer receives a router or a modem that's selected and tested to give you the best performance for your service. Okay. The first time you activate your service, whether our technician installs it or you do it yourself, you must use the Frontier router or modem to connect. This equipment is uniquely tied to your account. It's the exact model needed for the peak performance of your voice, TV, and internet service. Okay. Once you activate your service, you may decide to replace your Frontier router or modem with one that you choose, buy, and install. Frontier, however, supports only the routers and modems we supply. Okay, fine, that makes sense. We do not endorse other routers and modems. Okay, makes sense. For multiple reasons. Because your service is not exactly like anyone else's, we can't provide a list of routers or modems that will work for you. If you use your own equipment, you will miss out on these important customer benefits. Oh boy. The best
having
router
to pay every month for it?
The best router or modem for your service. We provide a router or modem that's optimized for your Frontier service. Sure you do. The Frontier network can authenticate...
Optimized for them to pay the least for it, probably.
The Frontier network can authenticate this equipment. The process will go smoothly whether it's installed by you or a Frontier technician. A non-Frontier router or modem may not be compatible with your services. Okay. Number 2, Frontier technical support. Frontier provides technical support for Frontier equipment. If there is a technical problem with your Frontier router or modem, you can contact us for help. If you're using your own router or modem or need support, you must first reconnect your Frontier provided router or modem. What? And call our toll-free number.
Horrible.
Okay. I can kind of see some... let's see. If there's a technical problem with your Frontier router or modem, you can contact... If you're using your own router or modem or need support, you must first reconnect your Frontier... That doesn't make any sense. Why would you need to reconnect your router, your Frontier provided router or modem, if you need support?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
This is stupid.
Now I can understand them not being able to support other models of routers and things like that. Like, okay, fine, I'll give them that one. Upgrades are included in your service fee. Frontier charges you a monthly lease fee for your Frontier router or modem, whether you use it or not. Anytime you choose to upgrade your Frontier service and need a new router or modem, it will be covered by your service fees. We want you to get the most from our service. Your Frontier router or modem is the best option for you. Ugh. No. That's for chumps who don't know what they're doing with technology. Again, it's a way to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside and for them to make more money off of you. Anyway. Go down to Best Buy or Walmart or Target or Staples or any electronic store and literally go buy yourself a little like Netgear router. Hook it into your service.
Modem, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have what do I have on our house? It's oh, I forget what they call it. Anyway, basically, so I don't need a modem because I have fiber to my house. And so it comes into a box on the outside of the house, and that basically does the conversion itself in there. So it splits the fiber line into television, or, well, we don't have television anymore, but it splits it into television, network, well, data, I guess, and voice. I think it's an OST panel. I forget what they call it. But anyway, so yeah, so I don't actually have a router. I just have an Ethernet line that comes into the house and that plugs directly into the back of my router. So, pretty simple for me. But yeah. Yeah, if you can purchase your own cable modem, it suggests that you do so. Modems will generally pay for themselves in less than a year. And the all-in-one router boxes that ISPs typically offer worse Wi-Fi coverage that you can easily add to your house yourself. Especially particularly now with mesh Wi-Fi systems. They're better, cheaper, and easier to use than ever before. I will say this. Mesh Wi-Fi systems are awesome. So, Zach, what is a mesh Wi-Fi system?
Why are you asking me? You know what it is.
I know what it is. I want to see if you know what it is.
Multiple access points that go to the same network.
Yeah, basically. They're pretty nice. Unlike range extend, I hate range extenders, by the way. They're a piece of junk. Don't ever buy a range extender. You know what the problem with the range extender is, right, Zach? Well, actually, there's a couple that I can think of.
I haven't even used one.
So here's the problem with range extenders. First, usually they're wireless, which means that they have to, your signal, right, goes to the range extender wirelessly, and then from the range extender to your router wirelessly. Lovely, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I hate about them. The second thing I hate about range extenders is that you typically have to have a second SSID set up on them. Yeah. Mesh networks are nice because basically your computer says, hey, which access point is the strongest one? Oh, hey, I'm going to attach to this one. And they all share the same SSID, which means that there's no switching whatsoever. So that's why, so the church, we have a mesh system built on top of Unify or Ubiquiti equipment. And that's why I'm able to go from the social hall, which is completely on one side of our property, all the way over to our office, which is a separate building they're pretty close together, but it's a separate building. I can walk through the entire church over to the office and never lose my internet connection, never change SSIDs. Pretty nice. So if you have a large home, mesh systems are awesome. So Google makes some pretty good stuff, like Google Wi-Fi. A little bit cheaper option. Hey, Zach, did you know that running check disk on Windows 10 20H2 may damage the file system and cause blue screens?
That's funny, I guess.
Yeah, time for your Microsoft news. So, anyway, Microsoft's newest version of Windows 10, Windows 10 20H2, appears to have a bug that may damage the file system of the Windows partition and cause blue screens during reboots. Reports suggest that running check disk on these devices may damage the file system and cause blue screens on the first reboot of the system after the check disk operation completes. You know,
Mighty unfortunate.
I distinctly remember Microsoft doing this a couple updates back where apparently Microsoft decided you just didn't need your data anymore.
Yeah.
Apparently they've decided that again.
You don't need your OS anymore.
Yeah, you don't need your own.
Okay. Thank you, Microsoft.
Gunter Born provides details on the issue on his blog, but basically he narrates how one administrator discovered the issue after upgrading systems to Windows 10 20H2 and running the command check disk after the update installation. The command checks drive C for errors to repair them right away if they are found. That's hilarious. Because, yeah, so check disk is supposed to fix the file system, but apparently running check disk now breaks your file system. Brilliant. Completely brilliant. So it does the opposite. Hey, you know, if you wanted to format Windows or render Windows useless from within Windows, just run check disk now, Zach.
Nice. Very good. I'll remember that. Excellent tip. Save me some time.
So the command would find numerous errors in a file called 9 and an error in the bitmap attribute of the master file table, according to the report. Devices through the stop error NTFS file system on reboot, analysis of an active device with check disk running already showed that the Windows drive partition was returned as a raw partition, suggesting that the repairs of the check disk tool damaged the NTFS file system. Oh boy. Further analysis provided the following information. Systems with Windows 10 20H2 appear to be affected. The issue seems to affect solid-state drives. One user reported that a VM system with a platter-based hard drive was affected as well. And the cumulative update, KB4592438, released on December 8, 2020, as a part of the December 2020 patch Tuesday, seems to be the cause of the issue. So we'll see if they fix that. Other factors are not clear at this point in time. It is unclear if all devices running Windows 10 version 20H2 are affected, or if a subset of devices that match certain characteristics are. It has been confirmed that a fresh Windows 10 20H2 installation is not affected. Interesting. Now, administrators should back up the Windows partition prior to running check disk on devices running Windows 10 20H2 with the December 2020 update installed. Microsoft does not confirm the issue. Convenient. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a good thing I don't use automatic updates. I pretty much just update whenever I feel like it.
Well, it's fine if you don't run check disk, apparently.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, yeah, I probably would not have been affected by this issue, but, you know, what about other issues that Microsoft comes up with?
It's ironic.
They would really like to happen in Windows.
It's ironic that a system that is responsible for fixing the file system, or checking the file system and repairing it, is now apparently causing the file system to corrupt itself. Like, what the heck?
Oh yeah, that is itself.
And I'm not exactly quite sure. I don't know, like, what may have caused this, but check disk, I'm pretty sure, is a pretty old, like...
Yeah, check disk is very old, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a pretty old piece of
I wouldn't
software.
surprise me if that was just some tool that goes back to like the DOS days. And
I'm
probably
pretty
hasn't
sure
been changed in a very long time either.
Let's see. In computing, check disk is a system tool that and command in DOS. So yeah, it runs on top of DOS. Let's see. It verifies the file system integrity of a volume and attempts to fix logical file system errors. Well, so okay. If you know where to look, DOS still exists even in Windows 10. Because every Microsoft version is built on top of the last one. So, yeah. Anyway, that's kind of interesting. Let's take a look at this. Privacy groups file complaint against 5 online test proctoring services, Zach.
Those are horrible. Those should just go straight into the dumpster.
So the Electronic Privacy Information Center, the EPIC, has filed a complaint with the DC Attorney General's office against 5 online test proctoring services. EPIC claims that the firms violate the privacy rights of students. Now, the 5 companies sell software designed to prevent cheating in online tests and exams. Some are designed to track applications that are running on test takers' computers or restrict access to certain programs during the testing period. Others track students' activity during the test via their webcams and microphones and flag potentially suspicious behavior to their instructor using either algorithms or live monitoring. In some cases, test takers need to show a proctor their surroundings and verify their identity with personal information before the test can begin. These methods, the collection of personal information and the use of secret algorithms, amount to unfair and deceptive trade practices. At least that's what EPIC argues. So one of them, respondents' collection of sensitive personal information, including biometric data, is unjustified, excessive, and harmful to students who have no meaningful opportunity to opt out of such systems. The complaint further reads, forcibly collecting personal information from test takers, including sensitive biometric data, is inherently invasive. I would say so.
Well, you don't have to do that to take an in-person test, you know?
Right. Not to mention, I don't want this crap on my system.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No,
I wouldn't want this
you.
anywhere near my computer. This is horrible.
No,
it's probably only going to get worse. So I don't envy anybody who's like an online student in the current year, because that's unfortunate. That's really bad.
Yeah, the use of remote test proctoring services has skyrocketed with this year's rise in online instruction at all grade levels. So too has scrutiny of its providers. Proctorio, one of EPIC's targets, which over 400 universities use, came under fire early this year for its suite of machine learning and advanced facial detection technologies, which monitor the position of a student's head while they take their test and flags potential signs of cheating. Critics,
that is just ridiculous. Hello, imagine taking a test, but like while you're taking a test, you just have someone standing next to you watching you take the test. Like, wouldn't that just be weird?
Yeah. Critics,
like, I'd be like, hey, can I just? It's just wrong. Like imagine using it, like even doing anything, and just having someone just kind of watch you do it.
Well, okay, so here we go.
For no particular reason, just they're just there, you know. Hey, I'm just checking out what you're doing. Don't worry about it. Like, what? No, that's weird.
Yeah, critics called the service discriminatory, anxiety-provoking, and an invasion of privacy!
It is all of those things and should be into the dumpster as soon as possible.
Thousands of students have signed petitions and open letters calling on their schools to get rid of the service.
Terrible.
Look, what's wrong with, like, hey, we're going to take a test. Just turn your webcam on. right?
Problem is the easy like counter argument is that you can just say, oh well, do you just want to cheat or what? Because it's like, well, no, God.
Examity, which provides live proctors who watch test takers through their webcam, has also been unpopular on some campuses. Every student I know finds this the creepiest thing ever, one University of Arizona student said of the service. The Attorney General will need to act on EPIC's complaints for it to result in any changes, but the group has made clear that it's not backing down. It also sent letters to all 5 companies warning them that it's preparing to sue unless they agree to limit their collection of personal data, comply with basic requirements for trustworthy AI, and submit to an annual third-party audits. I think that's fair.
Or just quit existing.
Right, yeah, or just get rid of it.
This technology is terrible.
Well, we talked about ways to beat it before, running it in a VM.
It probably wouldn't like that. It would probably refuse to run. It'd have to be a darn good VM to fool it.
No, I don't think it. I think it just looks for an operating system.
You really think it's that dumb? Well, maybe. I don't know.
That'd be an interesting test. Maybe I should look into that. That'd be a fun video.
You just have honestly, the easiest way to beat some stupid proctor software is to just have a KVM. And let's say maybe somehow you can switch computers with a button on your mouse. There you go. Simple.
A lot of high-end KVMs allow you to do that through usually like scroll lock a couple times, and then the number associated with that particular system on the KVM.
Yeah, there you go. Easy fix.
Yeah, but those KVMs are kind of expensive.
Yep.
A VM might be a little bit cheaper option. Let's see. If you're worried about sending your kids back to school after the pandemic ends, or if you are a kid worrying about going back to school, then this Gizmodo article is not going to help. Tom McKay and Derv Mahort, I don't even know why I try to pronounce names on this show. Anyway, they've done a fantastic job reporting about how some U.S. school districts are buying tools designed to break into phones to download text and photos, even ones that have been deleted. Why? Why is this? Why are schools doing this?
For what purpose? Why does every authority just feel the need to spy on people so much? It's just obnoxious.
So there are companies that have partnered with federal and local police for years. That the controversial equipment is also available for school district employees to search students' personal devices.
That should be very much not allowed.
It serves as a striking reminder of how technology originally developed for the use by the military or intelligence service, regardless from ranging from blast armor trucks designed for use in Warzone. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. These devices are expensive. The Gizmodo reporters found some school districts that had spent up to $12,000 on the tech, which is designed for use in war zones and police investigations. Commenting on the devices, Cooper Quinton of the Electronic Frontier Foundation says that they started out in the preference of the U.S. military for federal their way into state and local enforcement. Why is this a thing?
Yeah, that's awful. That should never be a thing.
Wait, what? Unlike in law enforcement, though, school districts don't have to get a warrant to use the devices on students' phones. How is that possible? The Supreme Court ruled that school officials...
Probably there's no rule against that because no one thought that anyone would be obnoxious enough to do this.
Okay, so the Supreme Court ruled that school officials only need to reasonably believe that a student is guilty of something and that searching the phone will probably obtain evidence of it. And the many legal issues involved on how the students don't necessarily have the right to say no, so you should definitely take some time to dig into it.
I would be interested to know how that software works and how it can be defeated.
Yeah. So in 2016, a student enrolled at a high school in Texas consented to having his phone searched by one of the district school resource officers looking for evidence of a romantic relationship between the student and a teacher. The officer plugged the phone into a Cellbrite UFED to recover deleted messages from the phone. According to the arrest affidavit, investigators discovered the student and teacher frequently messaged each other. "I love you." 2 days later, the teacher was booked into the county jail for sexual assault of a child. I mean, okay, fine. The Cellbrite used to gather evidence in that case was owned and operated by the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, but these invasive phone cracking tools are not only being purchased by police departments. Public documents revealed by Gizmodo indicate that school districts have been quietly purchasing these surveillance tools of their own for years. Oh, geez, this article's long. That's a little interesting that apparently a school district can just and I don't know how you do that, but they have to. Well, I don't know how law enforcement does it either, but without a reasonable doubt, what the flip does that mean? But yeah, I don't know. All I can say is I'm glad I'm not in school anymore, and I don't know what I would do if I was still in school and they were like, we need your phone so we can search it. No, you don't. I don't know. I probably would. I'd have to read how that. I don't know. They wouldn't get my phone though. Oh, maybe they. I don't know. Anyway, not impressed with that though. Not at all.
It can be beaten, but I mean, really, why would you?
You know what? No, I wonder. So on my Samsung phone, I can encrypt it. Now it'll require me to shut my phone off. But once it's off, I wonder if they'd have to figure out how to break the encryption then. So I wonder if that could be a way to defeat it. So yeah, that might be the way to defeat it. Anyway, yesterday's release of iOS 14.3, Siri got a new trick: the ability to play real-world sound samples on command. So you can ask Siri, what does a particular animal sound like, and it will start playing the sound for you. Yep. There you go. Maybe the most useful thing Siri can do now. Yeah, so cool new little trick there, Zach. But anyway. All right, well, that's all I got for this week. I don't have anything else. So, anything else to add, Zach?
No.
Got it. So with that, thank you for joining us, and happy holidays to you. We will be back, I think, next week. Let's see. Yeah, the 27th. I think that'll work. And will that work for you, Zach?
Maybe.
We'll see what happens. So anyway, if we don't see you then, we'll see you in 2021. And yeah, until next time, thanks for joining us. Thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. Get subscribed down below if you haven't done that already. Turn on the bell for notifications. And yeah, we'll see you next time here on TechBeam. Goodbye.